Today's project was fixing those blinkers as far as putting new ones in. Had these on the shelf for forever. Decided to finally put them in. So now I've got a marker light that turns on two super bright fog lights. And then if I turn those off, got a left blinker, right blinker LEDs, and I can have the fog lights on. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel here. My name's Austin with Dream In Rotary. So this is going to be a relatively quick video where I'm going to go over how to install and what the Black Tie Motorsports front fog lights and turn signal combination looks like. So basically the story behind these things was that my buddy Sean had these for a while and decided that he didn't want them anymore, so I bought them, and they've been sitting on my shelf with RX7 parts for a really long time. And I'm finally working on doing like blinkers and lighting things because I had an issue with the blinkers in this car, and so I've decided to swap these in now. It's just an opportune time to do it. So basically I'll just run through the wiring setup for it and show you kind of how it works, and then I'll do one final little clip or video showing them in action. So let's go ahead and go to the bench here quick. So at the bench I've got what I'll be using. So this is the original set of turn signal assemblies basically. So these, as everybody knows, just has a bulb in there inside the housing that you screw in, and then you've got the yellow covers that go over the top and two Phillips screws that hold it in. So I've already gone ahead and taken apart one of these. So this one is been snipped out of the original harness, which I will also do to this one. So I'll snip it off. I'll keep the original clip in the harness because it just makes sense to have it in there. And I'll wire in these aftermarket running light and basically a fog light for the running light and then turn signal combo. So the wiring for these is relatively simple. I'm going to be using a 3-pin weatherproof connector here that actually has like a rubber seal in here. And maybe I can do it one-handed. Probably not. These things seal really well. Let's try two hands. Boom, there we go. So these have a weather stripped rubber seal here that seals on the inside surface of this, and then there's actually rubber seals at the end of these so no water can get in there. So I'm going to be using these and wiring them into the Black Tie Motors apparatuses. So these things basically have an array of a dozen LEDs, so 12 yellow LEDs on the outside, and then the inside is an LED projector basically, and it's really just an LED with a reflector in it that acts like a projector. There is no actual lens like a projector headlight. Semantics, anyways. So that is going to be wired into the running lights. So when I have the running lights on, I'll have a fog light on in the front to aid with some lighting. And then when the turn signal goes on, it'll blink these LEDs here on the outside. So the way they have these wired in is, this is what I believe to be a ballast for the LED system. So you just wire a hot in here. This shares a ground with the ground of the LEDs themselves and the ground of the resistor. This resistor is wired in to the hot here. So this hot comes in from the blinkers, and the blinkers will then go in, run through the resistor to make sure that they don't blink fast, runs through, blinks the LEDs. The ground is common among all three of these components, or all two of the components, sorry. So the two components being the LEDs and the projector fog light basically. And so you have a hot from the turn signal coming in here, a hot from the running lights coming in here, and the ground common shared amongst both of those systems. So what I can do quick is, I've already got one wired in over here, and so I'll pull this one onto the bench so you can kind of see a fully mocked up version of how this is going to look. So this one is going to wind up being my let me double check my orientation here. So this is the passenger side that's been cut. So this one is like this. So I can use this one on the passenger side, so it'll be flipped over, sitting like this. So the idea here is that this bulb will be pointed almost directly straight forwards, and then these will be blinking off to the right side, the passenger side of the car here. And so this is wired in as if it was a stock unit. So as I told earlier, we've got a black common ground, red here goes into the running light. I'm going to try to separate these here. Red goes into the running light, which is this projector thing, fog light, and then the blue is going to go into the resistor and into the LEDs for the blinker. So these are run into the factory harness. The factory harness, the green wire is the turn, red wire is the run lights, so the marker lights, one click forward, no turn signal on, black is your ground. So I've got these wired in as such, so my blue is going to be my turn signal, my red is my running lights, the fog light in this, and the black is the ground. So then what we're going to do here is I'm going to turn this way, so it's going to face the camera when I go into the car. Make sure none of these wires are touching each other. And so I can come up this way and actually turn on the marker lights so you can see how that's going to look. So there we've got this super bright fog light on. I'm going to walk up here so it's not just blinding the camera. So you can see this thing is super bright. I can actually notice it on the back here. Maybe if I cover this, you can maybe see a difference off on... let's try to project it maybe at the bench. So there we can see that it is projecting against the bench here. Shutting it off, turning it back on. It's pretty bright. So I'm going to turn this back and make sure I'm not touching any wires together. Go back over here. Awesome. So that is what the fog light's going to do when it's on with the marker lights. And then I have to turn the key on here. So I'll turn the marker lights off, turn my ignition on, turn my blinker on here on the right side. So you can see it's blinking at the correct speed here. Correct speed back here. And we can give this a view and see that it's blinking nice here as well. And so when the lights are off, neither one of these will be on. Blinker will just blink these, and the running light will just run the fog light here. So that is the basic concept of wiring these things in. I'm going to turn my blinker off and the ignition off here. There we go. So, basic concept has been gone over. I'm going to zip tie all of this stuff up really neat when I actually go through and finish this harness off. So all this will be zip tied together, electrical tape together. This will be soldered first, then heat shrink over the top of that, then taped so they won't have any issues. Using the weatherproof connector, and this is tied into this stock wiring. I have a wire tuck in this car, so it's going to look a little different than a stock car. And same is going to go for the driver's side as well. So the driver's side will be snipped off. I'll use this long loom and basically snip it off way at the end. Wire it into another 3-pin connector, the same orientation for the driver's side apparatus, and we should be good to go. So that is the overall arching concept of how to run these lights in a first-gen RX7. I just hadn't seen anybody do it yet, so let me go ahead and I will cut here in just a minute. I'm going to cut to a video of me running these running these lights in this car in order for you to kind of see the operating procedure and what it looks like when they're actually on. I'll try to do some night shots as well so you can see the difference between having the running lights on and the headlights on. the running lights with these fog lights in place should be pretty bright, I believe. So we'll go ahead and cut to that, and we will end this video. Thanks for watching, everybody. I appreciate it. This is Austin with Dream In Rotary. I will see you later.